Start the
entire
streaming.
week. And let's check that all the things are coming up. As usual, I'm
Where's the first error
waiting with
message?
anticipation for that technical issue. Okay, so we are live, which means that it's time to hit that button. Oh, wrong button. Dun, 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 dun. At least I got the right theme song this time. Oh.
Good
So
morning,
the first thing
afternoon.
is that you look like you're in a different place. Your background
Look
is
what?
slightly different. You like...
I've changed rooms again.
You know what they say? A change is as good as a holiday. Eh? Do you subscribe to that?
I've changed rooms, but change is as good as holiday, yes.
Yes.
I've changed rooms, and now I think my internet connection's not good.
Yeah, because every now and again you freeze up a bit.
Oh,
although
dear.
the picture is better than previously, I have to say, you know, it looks like you're yeah, but it doesn't help.
I have light. I have light, and I have light. I'm not sitting in the dark looking like some carte blanche episode where they're trying to hide the identity of the person they interview.
Yes, something like that with the muffled voice and yeah.
Yes.
Otherwise, okay, let's do it, man. Let's kick it off. So, how was the week?
Good. Yes, the sun came out. So we're kind of, although it is Wimbledon time, so it's going to rain, we saw sunlight and blue sky.
Yeah, so I was watching
what else happened?
So I was watching the Formula One, the free practices yesterday. And they were saying,
yeah?
you know, it's 18 degrees air temperature and, you know, like they're expecting it to be a lot warmer. It's like, it's not working this time.
Yes, I feel sorry for the people camping there because it was supposed to bucket down last night.
Oh, really?
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to sleep in a tent because the tent will be washed away. Yeah. Well, I think the sun, you know, this weather is 50-50.
50-50.
So this could be for an interesting race.
So is this glass
tire
half
changes.
full or half empty?
No.
No.
I like Silverstone because there's opportunities for overtaking. There's always incidents, issues, challenges.
Yes.
Tire changes come into play. Oh, man.
Well, I suppose let's recap. So we've had Hamilton against Verstappen with Verstappen landing up on the wall. We had Joe getting touched on the first lap at the first corner and landing up between the fence and the tire barrier with a red flag. So, yeah, this could be a very interesting race this weekend.
Very windy.
Okay. That seems
to... chance of rain.
Yep. And then you've got
it's...
Max and Lando.
And then we've got Lando, who really wants revenge for the last race.
Yes.
And he's fastest in the first two practice sessions. He's coming up with a point to prove.
Yes.
And McLaren have a better car at the moment, I think, suited to this track.
Right.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Is this the end of the Verstappen dominance era? Is this the start of the end?
Well, I suppose this is a return of Lewis versus Max kind of racing, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely... So, okay, let's unpack last weekend. What are your first thoughts on how the race went, how the wheel-to-wheel action was, and how it ended?
I've only watched them. I didn't watch the whole thing. But
shame on you.
From what I've seen, yes, absolutely. Partly because I forgot it was on. I got the timing. I thought it was good. To Monaco, Monte Carlo Grand Prix. where there's no chance to pass, and as much as I still love that event, it's not racing. It's just trying to not crash. And now we're getting into circuits where racing does come into play. And people are going at it. Strategies need to work.
Yeah.
This requires a lot of thought and process planning, and take the chance and race the hell out of it. Yes, we can overtake. We can compete. Yes, I like all of that stuff. Um, and the fact that there was that accident the last lap, it's very exciting.
Mm.
So it's what fans love about the sport. Anything can happen on these kind of circuits.
Yeah.
What's your view?
So, okay, my view is this. Okay, so McLaren's made massive strides. I mean, if we go back to the beginning of last season, they started off quite low in the midfield, and then they progressively improved, and then towards the end of the year they were starting to compete. And then they started at the year, okay, they're a little bit behind Red Bull, but they've made some impressive strides in the last couple of races to get up there. Okay, so now on the question of, is McLaren up there with Red Bull? I think they are pretty close. However, if you look at the kind of tracks that, like that we've been going to, is that Red Bull were very honest to say, well, like I think it was the Canada race or one of those where, the curbs are quite high, and the Red Bull's got a very sort of like stiff suspension, or their chassis designed in a particular way that the cars don't really deal with those kind of curbs well. And they were saying, okay, this is not, our car's not going to do well at this track. However, when they get to a track where they know their car's good, so Austria is one of them, right? Red Bull Ring. So if you look at the race, like Verstappen had it's not like he was 20 seconds ahead of the number 2. He was 5 seconds ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was good enough for him to win the race as it was, because in order for them to catch up, they would at least have to be knocking off half a second per lap to actually get to challenging him on the last lap. However, what happened was there were 2 incidents, there were 2 things that happened that ate away that advantage. First of all, the one was he had a bad pit stop. So instead of like a 2.5 second thing, it was like 3.5. Well, I think it was 3.8 to be exact. Firstly. Secondly, Norris pitted at the same time as Red Bull, and their pits are close to one another. So first of all, he had that slow stop, which meant that he had to almost like wait for, before he could be released, kind of thing, right? So those 2 things there took away his advantage. That put Norris in that window where he just had to push a little bit to get into the DRS window, and then he could challenge. Okay. And 3 DRS zones, it's a fast track. The opportunity was there. My question is, if he hadn't had a bad pit stop, how would it have ended? Chances are he could have won it fairly comfortably. Okay. So the way that I'm seeing it is that something else has to happen in the race for them to get close. That's my suspicion. That's my concern. Okay. Like, has the McLaren got the outright pace to get up there with the Red Bull? I don't think they're just yet. But they. Look,
Sergio still finished 7th.
Yeah, look, I mean, the thing is, I don't know what the deal is there with Sergio and his car. It's like almost like, and I mean, he seems to have had this problem from time to time, is that Max is in tune with his car. Now, whether it's him and his engineering team are working very well together to the point that Max is telling him, this is what I need in the car, and they're being able to deliver on that. I'm like suspecting that there's a bit of a gap there between Sergio being fully comfortable in his car and him being able to get out of the car what he needs via his engineering team or whatever. I don't know. I'm probably talking the biggest load of rubbish, but he's definitely not on top of his car. And last year he was doing better. I mean, last year there was one race that Sergio almost won, and if he had, he would have taken the championship lead. Like, he's been nowhere close to there. He started out the year second in the championship. He's now fourth or fifth, right? So the consistency is not there. So there's definitely something going on there with Sergio. So yeah, I don't know what that is, and I mean how that relates to where McLaren is and whatever. Geez, dude, I'm looking at Piastri and saying, this guy is like flying under the radar, but he's there all the time, right?
He's there all the time.
And it's one of those days where something goes wrong, and like in George's case, the two guys in front take themselves out. Piastri is going to be running third, and he's going to win his first Grand Prix. I think Piastri is solid. I mean, he's very, very consistent. And I've got a feeling...
But so is George, right?
Yeah, George
I think it's just the performance of the car that McLaren has the edge at the moment.
Yeah, I think George has had his good days and bad days, whereas Piastri's had very few... He's had more good days than bad days. And... well, that's my feeling. That's my gut feel. I mean, if one went and analyzed all the races, probably George and him are maybe in the same sort of region. But like Piastri's there. He's like, and he's not like, and I mean, he's just the whole package in the sense that there's not a lot of stuff in the media about him other than when he went to McLaren. It's his second year of the in Formula One, and I mean, theoretically he's doing better in comparison to where George was at the same time in his career. But then remember, George was in Williams and he wasn't in a McLaren, so I think the timing for Piastri is great because McLaren's going up. Piastri is obviously a good driver, so he's able to get good performance out of the car. Yes, he's had some bad days, but it's only his second season. I'm like, I've got an eye on Piastri and saying, I'm interested to see where this guy's going. And then Oliver Behrman, he's just been confirmed for Haas for next year. Super excited about that because Haas seems to have found something. I mean, look at what's his name? Nico, or what his name is? Hulkenberg. Yeah. So he's look at where he finished. I mean, he was in the points, well in the points.
Well, both Haas were, which is good to see considering where they were at the start of the season. What was it? Hulkenberg 6. Yeah. Magnussen 8.
That's
top 10. It's good. It's points.
It's a great result for them. So I think Oliver Behrman going there, and I mean, I was watching him in free practice yesterday. The guy's not scared.
No.
And I was having this conversation with
just remember back to when you were his age, though.
What, me and my sitting golf?
Hearing about boy racer, this is great for a age going, oh yeah, I can go fast and you don't mind? Okay.
Yeah. No, well, the thing is, and I was having this conversation with Becky the other day, is like, he's got more points in Formula One than he's got in F2. Right? And then I was like saying, it's like F2 is supposed to be the feeder for F1. And you're like, you're looking and saying, well, the guys that are winning F2, when they are promoted to Formula One, they don't necessarily do that well. However, you can take someone that's not even winning F2, put him into Formula One, and all of a sudden he's doing well. So, like, I'm almost wondering if there's the commonality between Formula 2 and Formula 1 is not enough for the Formula 1 teams to be looking at someone in F2 and saying, okay, this guy's going to do well in Formula 1 because he's doing well in Formula 2.
Yeah, maybe they see something different.
Mm.
I mean, if this is the case, then we'll look at, wow, who was the top karter? Because all these guys come from karting backgrounds. Let's go and get them even earlier
Yeah.
and get them into Formula One.
Because you know that Max never raced in Formula 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing with the young drivers. I mean, Max didn't even have a driver's license when he started. I mean, that's how young we're getting these guys now. So, yeah, but even, I mean, if I think of Albon, Ocon, Gasly, they didn't spend that long in Formula 2. They were all young drivers as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, look, it's getting interesting. It's got to that point
Yes, it
now
is.
where Norris and Max are, doing the wheel-to-wheel racing. And
It's what I've always wanted. This kind of, Mercedes are not necessarily as dominant. We get racing for the lead. Sponsors of must be happy they'll get more TV time. But yeah, McLaren has definitely come up. Ferrari's still there. Mercedes is slightly off, but they're still in the mix.
Yeah.
They can still disrupt things. I'm just worried about Alonso. Aston Martin, they were doing really well last season in the beginning of the season. They're kind of dropping off a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe not this weekend. Let's see. But Fernando had the fastest lap race.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he ended up what? Second last? No.
Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, so I think this weekend's going to be interesting. And I mean, obviously, Silverstone's always a good race to watch. I think it's a great track. Yeah, so let's see what happens there. We'll talk next week and we'll do the debrief.
I must remember to watch it.
I'll send you a WhatsApp. Yeah. Have you watched any of the Wimbledon?
Back-to-back sports.
Have you watched any of the Wimbledon? And
yes, I have.
How's it going?
Well, I've been watching the British superstar in the making, Raducanu. Oddly, because she lives not far from where I used to be, and I was like, no, just go off and down the road. Won the US Open as a wild card entrant.
Yes.
At the age of 18. That's ridiculous. And this is her year after a few injuries that have set her back. This is the first time she's in a major since the US Open, I think, where she's touch wood,
doing well,
really fit and doing well. She's looking dominant.
Yeah.
And she's not even, she's ranked 100 and something, 130 odd, partly because she hasn't been playing much. But she's take on any seed. She's not seeded. And yeah, she's doing really well. So yeah, we all want her to do well. She's not the only Brit involved, but yeah, British tennis is going through a strong spell. Andy Murray's on his way out. This is his last Wimbledon. There's a lot of celebration for what he's done for the sport. So he played double. He pulled out the singles, played doubles, and lost that match with his brother. And there was a big thing around the court where everyone came to say goodbye. Kind of, it was a good interview, procession, lots of tears. And then what we've still got coming up is Andy Murray and Raducanu are teaming up for a mixed doubles game.
All right.
And I'm like, no, we don't want her getting injured. We don't want her getting tired. She's doing really well. Let her just do her singles. Oh, anyway. Yes. Look, I think and I think back to Wimbledon a few years back, there was always going to be one of four people who would win it, the men's side.
Yeah.
And the Williams sisters are quite dominant on the women's side. So it became very samey. I mean, it's still games to watch because the top four, top six to really fight it out. It was a battle. But it invariably be one of the, Roger, Djokovic, Nadal, whoever was the fittest at the time because everyone had injuries. So it's always, you could put money on those. Now, I don't think we have those dominant groupings. It's now how it should be, and everyone's for themselves. And I think it is the women's. We've had a different winner every year for the last 6 years, 7 years, something like that.
Oh, wow.
And that's great for the sport. A lot of competition. Anyone can win it. And the bookies love it.
So have you, talking about that, have you watched that series on Netflix called Match Point?
Match Point.
Yeah.
Have I watched it? I don't know. Which one? Maybe, because I like this kind of stuff. What's it about?
So basically, it's following the up and coming, because they say that all the like the Djokovic's and the Nadals of the world, like they're coming to the end of their careers, kind of thing. Like who's coming up behind them, and they've been following, they follow some of these up and coming tennis players, and it's actually quite interesting because, and I mean I've always been a tennis fan. I was a big Andre Agassi fan. And I suppose you watch the game and, the guy lost the match. Okay. But you never understand the mental side of it, behind the scenes. And it was only when I read his book, I think it's called Open, that you actually got a little bit of an insight into what happens, between matches, after matches, before matches, and that kind of thing. And again, this series on Netflix takes you behind the scenes and how hard they are on themselves when they don't do well, and how nervous they are going into, and they've played this person before, and this is what's happened, and the mental side of it is something we don't actually sometimes realize or appreciate or forget. And so it was a great series. I think there are two.
That always got me.
I think 2 or 3 seasons there already.
The thing that got me about modern day tennis, and I suppose it's the same in other sports. As a kid, as you've been spotted, you've got talent, and your parents will push you to go and be the best you can be. But quite often for these top players, as very young kids, they're going off to another country to go and train with specialist academies. They're away from home. They lose so much just in the pursuit of greatness.
Yeah.
And it starts very young. That's got to take its toll.
Absolutely.
So you do all that work, you go and train, you're away from home, and you put through your paces, you're shouted at, and you put pressures put on you, and then you're like, we've got to win now because we've done all this. I've done all the work. But then so is 128 other kids in the same boat. It's like if you don't sacrifice, you won't achieve.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's quite heavy going. And you have that pressure through those teenage years as you emerge and get stronger and better and all these things, the same as 128 other kids from around the world. And then you finally manage to get into a Grand Slam event, only to go out in the first round. And it's like all those years and effort, pressure, you must be sitting there doubting yourself. So no wonder they're hard on themselves. It's not just pitch up and play my best. If I lose, I lose. I'll try again next week in the next tournament. Too much at stake.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so I haven't really been watching because I don't have DSTV, dude.
Oh, I'll watch it for free.
Nice. can you watch it on your laptop and share your screen and we set up a Teams meeting?
Hang on, let me get my phone.
Oh, sure, but yeah, it would be nice to be able to. I got to try and
So-
work out. Got to try and work out a way to be able to watch because I was using a VPN, but it wasn't working very well, and I was signed up where I could get to ESPN. Go
Oh,
away.
it's blurry.
Go away. Yeah, I can't see anything. What are you showing me?
Oh, it's only center court
It's only
on my
center-
phone,
It's only center
live. I can choose
Yeah.
any which court I want to watch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Rubbish.
is it worth getting DSTV just for this? No.
No.
So what
Well,
do you watch Formula One on?
I subscribe to Formula One TV, which is the official Formula One
Yeah, that makes more
thing.
sense.
And they a couple of years before, I used to use it. I used to use a mate's DSTV log on to watch Formula One. And then let's say,
yes.
for instance, if I wasn't at home or whatever, then I would join on the Formula One app, but then I could only listen to the commentary. I couldn't see the video. And that was because in this country they had an agreement with MultiChoice. So MultiChoice had the rights. So they couldn't show the video in this country, but then somewhere along the line that changed, and now I can get the video. So now I can watch, I can watch everything, Formula One. Also get the F2 stuff, and so I have been able to in the past watch live tennis on ESPN Plus via my Hulu subscription. I hope no one's listening here.
Yeah.
But something has gone
No, I
wrong
was
with
just
the
thinking that.
VPN. Something has gone wrong with my VPN, and that's I haven't been able to run my VPN properly, which means that I can't get to Hulu, which means I can't get to ESPN Plus. So I cancelled all of that. But I might spend some time and see if I can get it up and running again, and at least I can watch some tennis, because I do enjoy me a good tennis match.
We've got a week till the finals.
I got a week, yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's that ex-South African player? Trying to think what his name is. He's a coach now. He coaches one of the top tennis players. I can see the guy's face. Can't remember his name now.
Red hair?
Yeah.
Eccles. Yeah, he made a Wimbledon semi-final and
yeah, he's played in Wimbledon before. He never made it to the top.
his name?
But,
no, I think we've had I think he made semi-finals.
yeah.
Final?
Yeah, anyway, so he's one of the
anyway.
coaches now. He features in that Netflix series.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched it, no.
No, clearly not.
And I think the reality is I gave up my Netflix a year ago.
Did you? How come?
Yeah. So I haven't watched Drive to Survive either. I just took a break from because I think I've covered this before. I watched too much telly. I just wanted to get out the house and do stuff.
Ah,
So if I had, because I've got so many different opportunities for watching stuff on demand, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to stop it all for a while and see what happens.
yeah.
So the only thing I currently have is Prime,
Mm.
and for the amount of time I spend on watching telly, it's fine. I mean, I don't have all the greatest stuff, and I end up watching old movies a lot, reruns of stuff I've seen. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I've moved on. I think I might go back because look, I do want to watch stuff I haven't watched before.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I suppose Netflix has probably got the most sort of content, but then one can have a conversation about the quality of the content. Prime has got
Oh,
some stuff, but it's a smaller catalog, and some of it's good and some of it's bad. But I've been reading quite a bit recently about Apple TV because I've also got Apple TV.
yeah,
I have cancelled it recently,
yeah.
but what I've noticed is the shows that Apple TV have, they are all good. In other words, the quality of the Apple TV series, even though they're not many, they are very good. So the quality is there.
There's a lot of competition.
Mm.
Disney, Paramount,
Yeah.
they're all they're all trying to grab some of this market share
Geez,
away
dude. And
from
I was
Netflix.
subscribed to all of them at one stage. So I was Netflix, Hulu, Prime, Apple TV, Disney Plus,
Do you
Paramount.
ever
The
get out
only
the
one I
house?
didn't have was HBO Max because that's just expensive. But yeah, at one stage I was running all of them, but I don't have time to watch all of that stuff. So I started
Yeah,
canceling some of
COVID's
them.
over. You don't need to watch that much TV.
Yeah, that's true. Listen, dude, we down to 7 minutes on our Zoom allocation.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
time flies when you're having fun.
I'll go through my
National
national days.
days. National days.
Well, today being the July, and obviously the Americans celebrated the 4th of July this week. I was bombarded by my American friends bragging about how they had the day off and thank you for their independence so they can have a day off work. You guys get to work. Yeah, anyway.
Oh, it was 4th of July.
Yes.
And Canada
Yeah,
Day
yeah.
somewhere along the line as well.
Well, interestingly, and it's a shame Oleg's not here because everyone remembers 4th of July and celebrates 4th of July, but there was another key date, and that was 1923. On
Mm-hmm.
this day,
Yeah.
the 6th of July, was actually when the Russian Empire ended
Mm-hmm.
and the Union, the USSR, the Union of Socialist Republics, was formed. The USSR Celebration Day
Hmm.
is today. Not that
Okay.
the USSR exists anymore, but yeah,
Okay.
that was around
Interesting.
for what 70 odd years.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was today. What else have we got? Today in 1957, John Lennon and Paul McCartney met each other.
Okay. And the Beatles?
Uh, and the Beatles was formed because John Lennon had a band at the time called the Quarrymen, and they were performing at a parish church in Liverpool, which I suppose is what happens.
Yes.
And they were introduced by a mutual friend, and it clicked. So, and the Beatles became something,
Something, yeah.
something,
A small
something.
thing. They became a small thing. Yeah.
Yeah. How much do you follow NFL?
Not at all.
Okay, I'll skip over the largest contract signed for a single player for the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. But let's move on. On this day, Pokemon Go was launched,
Oh,
released
released. I can remember
in
getting all those things
2016.
in my Simba packets.
Ah, the Pokemon cards, yes. So, yes, Pokemon Go, where all the parents were running around in the middle of the road collecting little stuff on their
Yeah.
augmented reality app.
Yes.
Yes. I'd love to see the stats about how many car crashes and other injuries happen because of this game. Yes, there we go. Birthdays. Sylvester Stallone is 78 years old today.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and he's still making movies,
Yeah.
unbelievably.
I was going to say.
50 Cent. 50 Cent is not quite 50. We'll have to wait for this day next year. He's
He's
41
49.
today.
Okay.
Yeah. Kevin Hart's also in 40s. He's 45 today.
Right.
Um, Jeffrey Rush has his birthday. So quite a few birthdays. But what I wanted to focus on is that national days. It's not that many. Um, it's National Fried Chicken Day, so maybe a KFC is in order. It's also Play Outside Day. not in this weather, unless you're Formula One driver, I suppose. But tomorrow is a celebration of National Dive Bar Day.
Dive bar.
Dive bar, yes. It's not a chocolate. Um, it's basically something that was invented in America not so long ago to celebrate the fact that you have a place that you go to that you feel comfortable in, a
Yes.
bar that is.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily, a dive bar sounds like a dirty, dodgy, dingy, dark, smelly place that people just merge every now and then. It's dark and
Dark
dusty.
and dingy.
But it probably, it could be, but it doesn't have to be. Dive bar is your place that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
You don't expect pristine conditions. Go there because, sometimes the dive bar has the best steak in the area,
Yes.
or the beer is cheap. Oh, this is where you've always gone, your father went, or whatever tradition you've had. Celebrate various things there through your life and death. This is where people congregate. So the whole thing was celebrate and commemorate your dive bar. Everybody has a dive bar. And I immediately thought of my favorite dive bar in New York City, in Hell's Kitchen, I think it is. And
Okay.
it's called Rudy's. How much time have I got?
You've got 2.5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Rudy's. And I went and randomly bumped into this place on trips. And every time I've gone back to Rudy's again. And it
Well
is
done.
not the prettiest place. It's been around for so long. It started in the Prohibition, apparently,
Okay.
unconfirmed facts. But it's got a massive pig outside, which has been stolen twice. And is now, pig has been found and bolted to the floor. But it's got so much history and stories. Right from Al Capone used to hang out there. Talking about Paul McCartney, when he's in New York, he's also been known to hang out there. James Gandolfini. I mean, I'm not going to list them all out. Basically, the thing with the pig outside is that you get free hot dogs with every drink.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And it's no issue. Drinks are cheap, and I don't know how this place makes money, and maybe that's why they don't spend a lot on the decor. But it's been around for so long, and it's a meeting place, and it's a proper dive bar, and all those things I described earlier. But there's a couple of stories I like about this place, and I've only found this out since I've been there. Something the actress's name. Come to me, second. But historically, they had two German shepherds there. And if
Yeah.
you didn't drink, you're just talking, the owner would kind of
Let them.
instruct the dogs to go and nudge you, kind of,
Yeah.
we're watching you. If you cause trouble, the dogs will sort it out. If you fell asleep, you train the dogs, the old owner, train the dogs to growl and bare their teeth at you so that you'd wake up to this fearsome sight and you'd quickly make up your mind whether you want to go home or not.
Or order another beer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still good. No, you're not. The dogs have spoken.
Listen, dude, I think this thing's going to cut us off any minute now.
Okay. All right. Let's hit that music.
Yeah, well,
Let's hit
that was a good
music.
episode, dude. Suppose we'll catch up next week. Yep. There we go. Right. My saving has been recorded. I mean, my recorder has been saved. Okay, so catch us next week where we talk the biggest load of rubbish just for the hell of it. Cool. See you guys next weekend.